Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Donald Trump scores another massive legal victory in court. I mean, it's crazy the fact that I'm even reporting this as a massive legal victory, which should be baseline, his right to fair and impartial justice, within the era of political persecution of Joe Biden's enemies. Stuff that you might take for granted, like having a neutral party analyze the documents, crazy enough is something that you gotta fight for. And boy oh boy, Joe Biden's DOJ has been fighting tooth and nail to stop Donald Trump from being able to appoint a neutral arbiter, or rather a neutral special master. Well, the decision has just been made, and yet again another massive victory for the Trump team, appointing his selection of a special master in the FBI's classified document case, otherwise known as Toiletgate. I've got a massive update for you guys on this case, as well as some other things that we gotta cover. Let me show you guys what's going on, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so here's the story. Judge Pick's special master denies DOJ request for document access during stay. The judge handling the case of the seized documents from the Mar-a-Lago raid has finally appointed a special master. Judge Eileen Cannon, who was appointed by former President Donald Trump, also denied a Department of Justice request to lift the stay on the documents it wanted access to, CNN reported. The special master will be Senior Judge Raymond Derry, who was put forward as a possible candidate for the special master role by Trump, who had sued in court to obtain the review. The Justice Department also endorsed Derry's appointment. U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon also rejected the Justice Department's bid to revive its criminal investigation into classified documents seized at Mar-a-Lago last month. The denial sets the stage for the department's dispute with Trump over the search to move quickly to an appeals court and potentially the U.S. Supreme Court. Cannon gave the special master a deadline of November 30th to finish his review of potentially privileged documents. The schedule puts the review ending after the midterm congressional elections, essentially guaranteeing the Mar-a-Lago investigation will move slowly for the next 2 months, unless a higher court steps in. And so you guys see what's going on here, right? Donald Trump had to fight just to get basic treatment. Otherwise, the endlessly corrupt DOJ and FBI were planning to run train all over Donald Trump's rights. The accusation is that some of the documents that were seized at Mar-a-Lago were privileged personal legal documents. And just like any other regular citizen, Donald Trump has the right of client-lawyer privilege like anybody else. But apparently the DOJ and the FBI disagree, as they fought relentlessly in the courts to stop him from executing that basic right. It's the same thing that Tucker Carlson was reporting on the other night.
On what grounds are you demanding my private communications with people? They never say. But included in this precedent-breaking sweep of political opponents of the Biden White House would be former White House advisor Bernie Kerik, who was the former police commissioner of New York City, Boris Epshteyn, who is the current attorney for Donald Trump. At no time in American history has it been okay to grab the personal communications of someone's lawyer, because those are privileged. Not anymore.
Now, I am no legal scholar or legal expert, but it seems to me that the FBI is acting totally unethically here, and honestly, you might even be able to argue to the extent that the FBI is acting illegally. During an investigation, you can't just seize privileged documents and then fight the defendant's rights to appoint a special master to analyze the documents. But that's exactly what the FBI is doing here. They're saying that Donald Trump does not have the right to a neutral figure analyzing these documents, and they're even going as far to essentially say that Donald Trump doesn't have the right to lawyer-client privilege. That's messed up, and it shows you just how deep this political persecution really goes. If you really think about it, if you really put it into perspective, you have Joe Biden, the Brandon regime, sicking his DOJ and FBI dogs on Donald Trump. We've already covered it with the FOIA request gaining access to documents that prove that Joe Biden himself is the one that initiated this investigation in the first place and enabled the National Archives and Records Administration and the DOJ and the FBI to work conjointly to persecute and prosecute Donald Trump. So it seems as though we have a weaponized and politicized DOJ working for the Joe Biden, the Brandon regime, to go after Joe Biden's political opponent. That's bad enough. That's already partisan. And now they're fighting as hard as they can to make it as partisan as possible. They're trying to set it up so that neutral figures are not part of the process and that only they can appoint anti-Trump Biden goons to review the documents. They're fighting for a totally corrupt and partisan investigation, attempting to deny Donald Trump of his basic legal rights. And then Joe Biden has the audacity to fearmonger about the MAGA fascists when he himself continues to act like a despot dictator, abusing his power and weaponizing the federal government against his main political opponent. That is truly what's going on here, and the fact that it doesn't shock people is probably the most shocking element. The FBI and the DOJ have been totally compromised, and of course the mainstream media take real issue with that statement. But wake up, folks, we see exactly what's going on. I mean, take a look at this. Rotten at its core, FBI whistleblower says senior leadership is overly politicized. According to Representative Jim Jordan, the leading Republican on the House Judiciary Committee, one Bureau insider says the FBI is rotten at its core, with overt politicization against conservatives and conservative organizations. Jordan of Ohio outlined the new claims in a scorching letter to FBI Director Chris Wray over allegations that the Bureau is mostly targeting conservative groups and individuals, including one that is led by a veteran, the Daily Wire reports. We also have this breaking bombshell. Main Steele dossier source was on FBI payroll as confidential informant, Durham reveals. Igor Danchenko, a primary contributor to the Steele dossier, was hired by the FBI as a confidential informant in 2017. Special counsel John Durham revealed in new court filings. And then the latest drop, former top FBI official involved in Trump-Russia investigation, under scrutiny by federal prosecutors for his own ties to Russia. And so this idea that the FBI is this infallible organization that cannot be questioned is complete bollocks. The FBI has a long history of corruption, deception, and political weaponization. And I say a long history, but probably the most important and relevant history is the recent history, the short term. Just over the last 6 years, we have seen unquestionable corruption. We've seen a despicable level of political bias, from the FBI claiming that Antifa isn't a domestic terror threat, that it's not even an organization, claiming that the greatest extremist threat comes from the right wing. You have to be compromised to come to that kind of conclusion. To Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, now we're learning that Igor Danchenko was on their payroll, one of the main key sources to the Steele dossier. Andy McCabe and the rest of these goons applying for a totally phony, totally illegal FISA warrant. James Comey essentially letting Hillary Clinton off scot-free after she clearly committed multiple felonies, claiming that no reasonable prosecutor would ever seek these charges. And then a couple years later, they're seeking these charges against Donald Trump based on bogus claims and even a CBS Miami article. And in the process, as they continue their legal persecution and never-ending, endless witch hunt of Donald Trump, they're actively trying to deny him a special master, a neutral special master, because their goal is to continue to ambush and persecute him at any and all cost, and to deny him of his basic rights to a fair, impartial, legal investigation. We are talking about some really scary deep state stuff, folks. The narrative continues its man versus machine, David versus Goliath, Donald Trump versus the deep state. He continues to fight and continues to take them on where many would have already given up, and it's yet again another massive legal victory for Donald Trump, and a massive L for the credibility and reputation of the FBI, the DOJ, and the endlessly corrupt Biden regime. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.